unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, oh my. Yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. All I know, love will save the day, yeah. All I know is love will save the day. Save the day. Save the day. Save the day. Love save the day. Love save the day. Love save the day. Only love will save. Love save the day. Love save the day.
Yo, it's Julian King, and you listen to The Lounge on Word Radio.
Love save the day. Yeah. Love save the day. Love save the day. Yeah. Love save the day. Love save the day. Only love will save the day. We believe that love save the day. Love will save it. Love save the day. Love will save it. Yeah. Love save the day. I know that love will save the day.
Hey loves, I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. You're back in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. That was the musing of the week. Shout out to Carmito. Okay, she just gave us the Mad Ethnic Musings of the week, and this song is what she has been obsessing over. So that's what I mean when I say the musing of the week. That was Louis York with You Gotta Be. Okay, so it's Artist Tuesday. Shout out to all of the amazing artists and creatives out there who are on the grind doing their thing. Y'all know we see you. We love you. We appreciate you. And Tuesdays are just one of the days where we really try to be intentional about telling the stories, sharing the stories, and the work of artists in Philadelphia and beyond. So really quickly, if you missed the question of the day, I want to know, in your opinion, who is an artist that has truly shifted or influenced the culture? right? An artist that you feel has truly shifted or influenced the culture. Feel free to call in to chime in, 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. But listen, it's time for me to welcome my next guest to the airwaves. They're actually joining me in studio, right? So just to give you some backstory, last week, Karina Puente, a Mexican-American artist based here in Philly, she was on the show, right? She currently has this large-scale art installation titled Look Up, Look In. It's on display at the Kimmel Center. It's actually one of 2 free art installations at the Kimmel Center from multiple Mexican artists. And so we chatted a bit about that, about her cultural heritage, about Hispanic Heritage Month, her perspective on, where we're at as a nation, and just her artwork and all of that good stuff. And she told me about another artist and was like, would love to have her come on with me. She's amazing. And so we're like, okay, we got to bring her back. And Karina's going to come back. So Karina is joining me in studio, and Vesna Chef. She's an artist based here in Philly who paints like emotive, abstract, and portrait pieces that really depict the power of people and nature. But I'm going to let her tell you more about that. But she's joining me in studio. So ladies, welcome back, Karina and Vesna. Welcome to the lounge.
Hello, thanks for having me.
How are you both doing?
We're feeling good. We are feeling really good.
So, Karina, folks kind of heard from you, learned a bit about your story last week, but for those who may be meeting you for the first time this week, why don't you let them know in your own words who you are and what you do?
Hey everyone, my name is Karina Puente and I'm a visual artist based in Philadelphia. I run and operate a woman-owned studio called Karina Puente Arts International, and we specialize in large-scale installations, papel picado installations for events, weddings, cultural centers, and galleries, and portraits during the holidays. And I brought one of my pieces for anyone tuning in on social.
Yeah, so if you are tuned in on Facebook, right, shout out to Word TV. If you are tuned in there, first of all, hey, we see y'all. But you can see her artwork behind us, right? So definitely cool. She actually was standing up earlier and had a light behind it, and it's like so cool. But okay, Vesna, let folks know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hey, my name is Vesna Chef, and I'm a visual and performing artist based in Philly, and I create works that highlight the stories of women of color. That was how I sort of stepped into creating visual art, was seeing this absence of stories of women of color and pictures of women of color, and I feel like their stories are so important to the history of how things have happened in the world, and they need to be heard more. So that's been my focus throughout the work that I make.
Yeah. Thank you for that work as a woman of color, as a Black woman. Well, I appreciate you for doing that. So tell us a little bit about just your background as an artist, like how your passion was kind of set on fire for art, both the visual and the performing.
That's a great question. The performing goes way back. Singing was just the thing that I did when I was little. You know how like little kids just do random things for whatever reason they're compelled to do so. And singing was just a thing that I did. There was this one tape that my mom had that she had gotten for me, which was by Ladysmith Black Mambazo, and it's called Gift of the Tortoise, Tales from South Africa. And in that tape, it's a tape for kids, but it's not children's music. I feel like a lot of children's music in the United States can be very like watered down and like ding 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 ding, like very like simplified. And this was a full a cappella group performing using like sound effects and like just harmonies. It was so inspiring to listen to, and I think that really like sparked my interest for music, because there was so much that was going on in the music that was exciting to be a part of. Yeah. So with music, I feel like that's where it began. And then visual art actually came to me through playing music. I was playing a gig in San Francisco, which is where I went to school. I grew up in the Bay Area. And I was playing at this tiny little coffee shop called Moby Toby's in Hayes Valley in San Francisco. And there was someone sitting there who worked at a school, and they were looking for a band to perform for a fundraiser for the school that they had coming up. So they asked me and my band to perform at this fundraiser. So we go, and we ended up meeting the principal and everyone who works at the school, and they were looking for an art teacher. So then I applied for the teaching position and then got asked to be the art teacher there.
Wow.
And when that happened, I figured I should like learn how to draw or paint or like try some visual arts too. So I found books on like how to draw the portrait, just like at bookstores. And in those books, I saw that in this book on how to draw the portrait, there were no people of color whatsoever.
Wow.
And I was really like just thinking about all the pictures that I've seen of people of color and like where they have been and where they haven't been and how they've been depicted, like whether or not they are self-imagined or it's someone else's imagination of a person of color. So I really wanted to focus on in my class and then also in my work on people of color as self-identified, like as fully empowered and fully beautiful, with no expectation to anyone else, just as who they are.
Yeah.
So that is how I then came to visual arts.
So, just so I make sure I heard this right, you became an art teacher, no kind of art background whatsoever.
Yeah.
That is so, I think that's so amazing though. And especially to see where you're at now, like in your career and how an amazing of an artist you are. To know that that's kind of how it started. I think that's like the best story ever. Like, oh yeah, I happened to become a teacher, an art teacher, but I didn't know anything about art. Like I really wasn't into art. That's so amazing. So what did that time as an art educator show you about like young people and how they connect to art, or at least identify themselves through art?
Yeah, also an amazing question. I worked with middle schoolers. So in middle school, it was either, at the school that I worked at, you could either take art or Spanish. You had to take an elective. You had to take either art or Spanish. So I would get students who would say, like, look, I'm not an artist, but I, like, really couldn't take Spanish. So here I am.
Right.
So my curriculum ended up being what I call the confidence curriculum, which is just developing the confidence to know that you are capable of creating and learning something that you may have never thought was possible for yourself. Like, I never
love
thought.
that name.
Yeah. I never thought I would be painting watercolor portraits when I was younger. If you had told that to me, I would have been like, what? Like, you are out of your mind. I've never, like, touched watercolors or even a pencil, like, in that way, you know?
You're going to grow up and you're going to use watercolors and it's going to be great. Like, what?
Yeah, like, that would have blown my mind. I would have loved to, but it wasn't what I had thought, you know? So that is what I wanted to bring to, like, the kids that I worked with, and to just let them know that they are capable of doing that and like being an artist, and they have a perspective to share, and their perspective is really important.
Yeah. So how long were you an art educator?
In that particular position, I was there for a year.
Okay.
And then ever since then, I've worked with kids in different capacities. So I teach now at Fleischer. I teach in the after-school program. I'm currently doing sculpture, which is a very similar approach to just the confidence curriculum, and that you have a message to share, and how can we create that message using whatever mediums are available to us.
Yeah, that probably might intimidate me a bit. Like, sculptures? I don't know what I'm about to create. So how do you get students to kind of let their guard down and not give in to their fears, but surrender to like this the potential, the possibility, especially when they're being faced with a medium that they've never worked with in terms of art?
Yeah, a lot of it. Well, so we begin each class with movement. We do free draw, just like whatever ideas you have, getting them out. And with younger kids, they don't have this sort of inhibition as much as you get a little older. Middle school age, you start getting inhibitions. But the younger kids that I'm working with now are just excited to be making marks on the paper. So we start with free draw, and then we do movement to get us into our bodies and like moving and experiencing the world in a different way than we're used to, which I feel like opens us up to different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And then I really like to phrase things as a challenge. And so I have a secret ingredient for the day. And then I talk about what materials we'll have to supplement our secret ingredient. I mean, like scissors and tape and glue and things like that. And then I have them guess what they think the secret ingredient is, and then there's this big reveal, and they all gasp, and it's like paper or something, like, or like packaging materials, you know. But then they're like super excited to create with whatever the secret ingredient is, and it's this challenge to create a sculpture out of this material. And we talk about what a sculpture is, how it sort of comes out into the space and takes up more space than it did before the materials were put together in that way.
I feel like it's just so deep.
It's so beautiful. And so that's one of my favorite things about Vesna as a visual artist and as one of the team members in my studio, is what she has the capacity to do is take these like really big and complex concepts and just break it down.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do with systems when creating like large-scale installations for the Kimmel Center. It's like taking that concept and then breaking it down into digestible, workable, actionable steps.
Yeah.
With confidence.
Yeah.
With that knowing, that deep-rooted knowing that you can do it.
Yeah. You know, Vesna, when you mention a sculpture kind of taking up space, like in my head, I'm like, that's what we're here to do.
Yes.
As like,
yes,
as spiritual beings having a human experience, like that's what we're here to do.
We're here to take up that space and create the culture that we want to see ourselves thrive in and see move forward. Like the stories that I want to read about tomorrow are those stories that we're making today.
That's a good quotable. I hope somebody tweeted that. It's a tweetable. So we got to get ready to take a break, but I definitely am curious to learn like how you two connected, how you met each other, and you know, just as creatives, what it's like, you know, working in a space together, a woman-empowered, all-women space together, and just like making magic, like, you know, getting it done out here. Because I think there is, you know, there's always been this kind of pervasive belief that like women can't work together, and especially women of color can't work together, and that's clearly not true, you all. Like, so not true. I have worked with amazing women, and I love working with women, and so just want to make sure that we touch on that, and maybe get a little insight into what it's like to work together and be in that space together and just creating amazing stuff. So loves, listen, if you want to join the conversation, please do. The hotline number is 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. Going to pay these bills, but you're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. Happy Artist Tuesday.
Get your money straight.
Get my money right.
With Solomon Jones and Akbar Hassan.
Fridays on Wake Up with Word.
7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Exclusively on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
Hello, I'm Jose Hernandez, and I have been using a wheelchair since my accident in 1995. I guess if I had one message for the general public, it would be that I appreciate your help. But please, ask first. I know you mean well, but I've actually got everything under control. And if I don't, I'll ask for assistance. People with disabilities just want the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
This is a message from United Spinal Association. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
Listen live at wordradio.com. The Delaware Art Museum is pleased to present Posing Beauty in African American Culture. Opening October 19th, this exhibition examines the contested ways in which African and African American beauty have been represented in historical and contemporary contexts through a diverse range of media from the 1980s to the present, including photography, film, video, fashion, and advertising. Posing Beauty is on view October 19th through January 26, 2020. Learn more at delart.org. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD
Or on Facebook at forward.
Word TV.
Black Talk Media.
The Lounge with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on Word Radio.
That's Vesna Chef with Waves. You're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. It's Artist Tuesday. It's Thankful Tuesday. And I am thankful for my two guests who are joining me in the lounge live in the studio. If you're tuned into Word TV over on Facebook, you can see them. So shout out to all of our folks who are tuned in, who are watching live, as well over on Instagram at Sincerely Sarita is my handle. Where you can see the live going on. But Karina Puente and Vesna Chef are two artists, both based here in Philly. I've been chatting with them. That song that you just heard was Vesna's song. So Vesna, first of all, it's in me a little bit. Like, I just felt myself take another deep breath. Beautiful, beautiful music.
Thank you.
Like, what inspires you on the musical tip, like on that side of stuff?
That's a tough question. I feel like music is like so ingrained. It was like the first thing I did before talking or anything was just sound.
Yeah.
I can like remember humming things. I like sing in my sleep. So it's like I feel like everything really just inspires me musically.
Yeah. Who does your production?
Lee Clark.
Lee Clark.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lee.
Definitely shout out to Lee.
This is amazing.
He's incredible. Yeah.
And then you write your own songs, like you're a songwriter. What's your process for that? Like for actually crafting a song?
It can be really different. So Waves, that song, just started with the sound like that was the only like melody that I had, and I just recorded that and looped it, and then did another sound on top of that, and then did another sound on top of that, and then did another sound on top of that, and did like the like whistle thing on top of that, which you'll hear.
I'm so jealous I cannot whistle for like, and I'm like, That was me whistling. No, but that is so cool, the loop pedal. Like just even how you're able to just take sounds and create a larger sound. Yeah. So you have a ukulele in front of you. I hear this is like your instrument of choice.
It definitely is.
Why the ukulele? Like, how did you even get exposed to the ukulele?
Yeah, I was at a thrift store with my dad in Daly City, which is just south of San Francisco, and there was this ukulele there at the thrift store, and it was $14, and it looked kind of like a homemade ukulele. It wasn't this one, but it had this name carved onto the back of it, which was Lauren Marie, just like, yeah, and I wasn't sure that I wanted it. My mom had gotten me a guitar when I went to college, and I was like, maybe I should learn how to play the guitar before I like get another instrument, you know? And so I put it down and walked away, and then I saw someone else pick it up, and I was like, I really think I should be getting that. So they put it down, and I went back over and got it, and then I just carried it around with me everywhere.
That's the piece, like the ability to carry your instrument and your artwork. Vesna rode her bike with her instrument. She's mobile, and so like this concept of being able to be a mobile artist and have mobile studio is part of the fabric of how we both create work, like eternally freedom seeking supportive artists that need to be able to take our craft internationally. Like I really love this material that I work in because it can be rolled up, it can be folded up, it can be packed up and taken to where I need to go. And that's the same thing with this instrument, is that when you're a pro, you need to be able to take your work around the world, take your work wherever you need to go, and show up.
Show up and get it done. So would you play a little bit for us?
Sure.
All right, y'all, get ready. This is Vesna Chef, and she's going to play us a bit. She's got her ukulele, and she is ready to go. So let's take a listen.
Walk with me, my darling. Dance with me while we sing songs. And in the dark, my darling, stand by me and I'll be strong. Dream of places never been, and we'll think of things we never did, and we'll lead with hearts and hold our heads high. We'll dream of places never been, and we'll think of things we never did, and we'll lead with hearts and hold our heads high. Who are they to tell us? Who are they to tell us we can't fly? 'Cause who are they to tell us? Who are they to tell us we can't fly? Have you heard of Assata Shakur?
Yeah.
So, for those who haven't heard of her, she was a member of the Black Liberation Army, and she fought for human rights, which include the rights of people of color. And in her autobiography, which is an incredibly written book, she talks about this story of going to the boardwalk with her mom when she was younger. And so they go up to the boardwalk and are really excited to go on the rides and eat all the food. And they walk up to the guards and the entrance to the boardwalk. And the guards tell them that they can't get in because they're black. And so they walk away and sort of think to themselves for a little bit. And then Asada's mom walks back over, really confident, and starts speaking in sounds that Asada has never heard her speak before. And all of a sudden the guards say, yeah, of course, come in, please, enjoy yourselves, have a great time. So they get to go on the rides and have a great day at the boardwalk like any kid would want to. And later that day, Asada asks her mom what it is that she said to the guards. And she tells her that she was speaking to them in Spanish. And she was saying that they're from a foreign country and that they have rights as citizens in the United States to access the boardwalk. And this story, I feel like, just talks about the importance of hearing stories directly from women of color and the power and beauty of people and of people of color to create spaces of freedom despite whatever oppressions they operate in. 'Cause who are they to tell us? Who are they to tell us we can't fly? 'Cause who are they to tell us? Who are they to tell us we can't fly?
I literally started to tear up. Because, you know, I hear the song at first and then you expand it. You give additional perspective and then you bring the song back in and now it's like I'm listening to it for the first time all over again. And after hearing the story and then listening to it all over again, like having that feeling, it's like, wow. I could only think of my daughters, right? And they're sitting out, you know, out in the
Beautiful
foyer. Thank you. And that's a message that I want them to know. Like that's a message that I would like. I want so deeply ingrained in them. Like, who are they to tell us we can't fly? Like,
because we're here.
we
and
are
we've
here.
Been here.
Yeah,
We've been
it's
here.
such an like, chills.
You're giving me chills talking about it.
Seriously, like I need that. I don't know. Is that out currently? Like, is there somewhere?
It hasn't been officially recorded yet.
What? Did we just get an
will be soon.
exclusive?
Yeah.
For the original song titled "Free" by Vesna.
Great. No, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for just sharing that with us and just for operating in who you are. Oh my gosh, so powerful. So, Karina, first of all, thank you for saying like she needs to come. You have to hear her. She's amazing.
She's amazing. She needs to be on the radio all the time.
Yes, yes. And now that we know where, like for sure, where to find your music, we'll be playing your music. Just FYI, from here on out.
Yay!
From here on out, you'll be in rotation. But yeah, so prior to break. One of the things that I said I wanted to make sure we chatted about was women working and creating together. And Karina, your studio is all women, right? Woman-owned, all women getting it done in there. And I remember you speaking last time a bit about why that was important for you and to you. So for those who may have missed that, like, let's bring them up to date on that.
All right. So my name is Karina Puente, and I run and operate the Karina Puente Arts International Studio, and Vesna is one of my team members. And so I want to have a studio that really welcomes and celebrates the whole person, the entirety of who we are. We're multifaceted, freedom seekers, prisms, and that's where I would want to work. I would want to work somewhere that really supported my voice and my vision and my leadership, and to be able to flex that. And so that's the space that I'm making. That's why I make one of the reasons why I make my work is to make that space so that we can change the game of business, and where it's not a competition amongst each other for the finite game, but it's the remembering of the infinite possibilities that are within us. And so the reason why I really like that song Free by original song by Vesna Chef titled Free that y'all just heard, one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it just reminds us of that limitlessness. And it was a song that blessed the studio, and it continues to do so now that we're playing it more and more. And right now I have an art installation on view at the Kimmel Center in Philadelphia titled Look Up and Look In. And that same message that you could really feel in the song is in that artwork. The title of the installation is a call to action. Look up actually requires you to change your posture and sometimes even shift a perspective to look up to the limitlessness. And then look in is that same call to action to find out what really resonates within you, what's really important to you to then share with the world. And Vesna's music just vibrates right at that level.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I feel like
I know, I'm like, it's still, and that's why I think of it as like this blessing.
My body.
And it helps me, like, I hope y'all can feel it like on your ears, but it really just helps me focus and remember that feeling, like that connectedness.
Yeah. So Vesna, for you, what's it like working in a studio, in a space where, you know, it is women empowered, where you are creating alongside of other women? What's that like from your perspective?
I wouldn't have it any other way. I am so into working with women, and the multiple perspectives and intelligences that women bring from the experiences that they have lived is what I want to be surrounded by.
So as creatives who happen to be women, what would you say womanhood has like brought to your art, or your art has brought to your womanhood?
Well, part of my philosophy is to know how powerful we are and to continuously step into that space. And I think women really do that well, especially when they have ownership over themselves and are tapped in and tuned into their own agency. Is that women can really step into that place and say, like, this is our space, and this is like who we are, in a way that's sharing and giving and sensual and sensory. And we have a magnetism that can attract to us clients, collaborators, professional partnerships, new ideas.
Yeah. What about you, Vesna?
Yeah, I think the ability to self-define what it means to be a woman is what I love about just being in Karina's studio, is to like that any kind of woman, however you choose to define that for yourself, is what is welcome. And being in a space where you are just allowed to and encouraged to, I mean, allowed is a weird word, but encouraged to be whoever you would like to be, and for that to be up to you to determine what that means, like how you create as a woman, which like may or may not be feminine or may not be often like associated with women or something.
The norms.
You can self-define.
Gotcha.
And that's like a new kind of thought in how to even run or operate a business, is like giving people creative freedom, like that's game changing. And so what that really requires is, at the level of leadership, for leaders to become confident and to understand like their own personal strengths and skill sets, to like share that space, to make room. So it first requires a lot of just like inner knowing that things are going to be okay, and like things can work out actually beyond your wildest dreams, and you can blow your own mind. And then when you make room and welcome the expertise and of your creative team, that's really when things are fun. All right, so listen, we got to take a quick break, but if you're just tuning in, I've been chatting with Karina Puente and Vesna Chef. Such a great conversation, oh my goodness. So make sure you stay tuned. You're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. We'll be back after these messages.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
I ain't no better than you, and you ain't no better than me. But we all have something in common. We all are in species, seeds of God's creation.
Tune in to Messages in the Music every Friday night with Joey T, midnight to 6 a.m. right here on WURD.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875
or visit wordradio.com.
We filmed 15 Pennsylvania kids who were all waiting to be adopted and asked what having a family and permanent home would mean to them.
I've want a family just to accept me for who I am, to be there just to support me whenever I'm needing it.
To be matched with a family would be amazing. I won't be in a system all the time.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Word family, you are not alone.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Word Radio wants you to know that those who suffer from this disease,
their families,
and friends
are not alone. Word Radio encourages everyone to fight.
That's why we're launching Fight Forward, an awareness campaign aimed at bringing attention to early detection,
support groups,
prevention, and treatment of breast cancer. This month, we're shining a light on those in the fight.
Plus, all month long, when you start or renew your Forward membership, you'll get a very special pink Fight Forward t-shirt.
Keep the conversation going with the hashtag #FightForward.
And share inspirational messages, stories, and words of encouragement.
Make a difference.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Together.
Together. Let's fight forward.
For more information or to start or renew your Forward membership, call 215-425-7875. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD
or on Facebook at Forward.
Word TV.
Black Talk Media.
Hey everybody, we're Kindred, the Family Soul, and you're listening to The Lounge on 900 AM
and 96.1 FM,
WURD.
I am weary, my dear, my love. I'm afraid it has begun to fade. Hold on fast, my dear, the pull in your eyes I fear, 'cause with each breath you steer me away, you steer me away. And with your hands you carved, with your heart, and with your hands you carved my love. You must look harder to find the place where true love resides. For once I looked and what did I find but the shape of your heart? You must look harder to find the place where true love resides. For once I looked and what did I find but the shape of your heart? The shape of your heart. simple kind, the truth of the heart and mind hears the sigh. And to weakness kneel, echoed by thoughts, swell the tears, stand up now, my dear, before you're lost. And come home to love, 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 come home to love. And with you I stayed, molded to shape, I caved the perfect match, I remain in lover's form. And with you I stayed, molded to shape, I caved a perfect match, I remain in lover's form. With your heart, with your hands, you carved, you carved, with your heart and your hands, you carved, you carved my love, my love, my love, my love.
That was Vesna Chef with You Carved My Love. You're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita, and Vesna actually is joining me in studio along with Karina Puente. It's been such a great conversation and just beautiful vibes with these ladies. In the last stretch of the hour, but still have some time to kind of chat. And so wanted to make sure that we took some space, first and foremost, Vesna, for me to say congratulations, because it seems like there have been so many exciting things happening. I know you had like the recent performance at the Art Museum and the unveiling of your first mural and an art residency. So tell us a little bit about all of that and how it's felt for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like this Monday and Tuesday has been like letting all of it sink in, which is nice because it was just back to back. So Friday was a performance at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and that is where I started with the song Free, which I played earlier. I started off the performance with that, and I collaborate with two other incredible women for that performance. One is Bethlehem, who is a vocationist, which is a self-defined term that she's come up with, which pairs her vocals with body percussion, and she can just fill an entire, like the entire Grand Hall staircase was filled with her sound just from her body. And then Shanina Diana, who is an incredible artist,
love her, visual
and performing, and just an incredible human being who does emotive dance in the performance in the way we collaborate. And I also join in doing emotive dance, and we paint the space with sound and color. So we use fabrics to create this sort of in-process painting of the space to really activate what it's like for art to be created and what it's like to take up space in spaces that have traditionally not held space for people of color, in particular women of color. So like museums or different settings. It's really about taking up so much space, and it is so much fun to do it with these two women. So that was Friday. And then on Saturday I vended during the day, selling watercolors, and then Saturday night I had a mural unveiling at Elixir downtown, and that was a really incredible process. So I've never painted on glass before, and this is my first mural that was outdoor, on glass, and vertical. Like watercolor is basically the opposite of painting on glass. But it turned out to be really similar, actually, to the installation that I unveiled the next night, which involves taking things away in order to create the image. So I ended up painting on the window and then using a razor blade to take out the parts that I didn't want to leave the image, which included the line from the song Free, who are they to tell us we can't fly? So that is written into the mural when you walk by it.
And that was at the Glen Ford Artist Residency, and that was also a place where we were both showing artwork that day for Post. It's an ongoing artist activation for artist studios through the Center of Visual, the Center for Emerging Artists and Established Visual Artists.
Okay.
So SEVA is the acronym. Oh my gosh. And Glen Ford is a location that has an artist residency program, and it's on the edge of the city. And 2 years ago, when I was an artist in residence, brought Vesna through to like do the site visit and really like see the grounds and introduce her and her work to the curator of the program. And then when it was time to apply, she applied. They loved her application, and for that next year, like she was the artist in residence as well. And I think that comes through like just opening doors for each other and continuously like just sharing that opportunity and leveraging the resources that we have, and like seeing how we can continue to like buoy each other.
So what was the residency? How's that been for you?
That was a really beautiful process. So my application that I sent was basically asking the question, why is this site being preserved? As sort of a building and a historic site, which starts with this white wealthy family and pretty much ends with the white wealthy family. And there is no talk of who was there before or like what existed there prior to the building of this mansion. And I feel like that is the way in which history is colonized, is through the building of lasting architecture, which then becomes the object or the subject of history, as opposed to what was there prior to this, and why is this there versus anything else. So my project and my work focused on gathering stories from Native populations. So the Lenape Nation was who I was in touch with. And so I talked with the Lenape Council, Lenape Council members, and clan mothers from the Lenape Nation. And clan mothers are a group of women who are the decision makers in the way that Lenape society is structured. And so there are current clan mothers who are decision makers, and they were telling me that clan mothers traditionally like could get rid of a chief if the chief wasn't doing a good job, or decide to bring on a chief. So it was a different perspective, I feel like, than what I had been taught when I was younger, just about Native American women and the structure of Native American society. So a lot of my research took place not at the site of Glen Ford, because that is not where those stories existed, but through conversations and reaching out to other people, to women.
If at all ever possible, pass it along to them and let them know. We would love to, if that's something that they would have any interest in, to welcome them on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
okay.
However we can amplify that space and the stories. Let's do that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, but okay, so can folks check out your work there? Because was there an unveiling? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was an unveiling. Karina was there lifting flags that were blowing out across the river, which you could see through the window of where my artwork was installed, which is really beautiful to have them in conversation.
My installation was on the edge of the water.
Oh, beautiful.
And it was 4 celebration flags that were hand cut and hand dyed, and soldered pipe on site to make the flagpoles. I had a collaboration with the builder to make the bases, and it was on the edge of the water, flowing, essentially saying, like in this traditional Mexican art form, saying, you belong, welcome, you've been here, we are here, we're home.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that, like, your research, the work that you're doing, the artwork, this all happens before Indigenous Peoples Day, right? That happened on Monday. Like, how appropriate that, like, that's the kind of stories that are being told and the kind of artwork that's being done and celebrated. I love it so much. So we got to get ready to let y'all go. Like, this hour has kind of flown past. We usually do a game called Quick Shots, but we're out of time, so we'll have to save that for another day.
So
That was a little stressful.
We'll save that for another day. But why don't you each let people know, where they can find you at, follow you at, all that good stuff, websites, all that stuff.
Yeah, so let's stay in touch. My website is www.carinapuentearts.com, and on social, it's Carina Puente Arts.
Gotcha, and that's Puente.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
ARTS.
Okay.
Say what's up.
And Vesna?
You can find me and my work on my website, which is www.vesnascheff.com. And Instagram is the same, Facebook is the same, just my name, Vesna Chef. Feel free to reach out.
What does your first name mean?
It means spring in Russian.
Spring. Oh.
Yeah. I'm not Russian. But
She's not Russian. Got you. All right.